The cities of Ratcliffe, Elizabethtown, and Vine Grove, as well as Hardin County, are coming together to help manage pollutant runoff and its environmental impacts. As rain runs off of surfaces, it can come into contact with pollutants such as oils, trash, chemicals, and pet waste that will eventually end up in our recreational and drinking water sources. Hardin County and its communities are fortunate to have an abundance of lakes, streams, and surrounding natural areas. Help us protect our waterways. Pick up trash and pet waste. Report unusual substances in drainage ways, and pick up chemical and oil spills. For more information on how you can improve water quality in your community, contact us. Remember, if it's on the ground, it's in your water. The cities of Ratcliffe, Elizabethtown, and Vine Grove, as well as Hardin County, are coming together to help manage pollutant runoff and its environmental impacts. As rain runs off of surfaces, it can come into contact with pollutants such as oils, trash, chemicals, and pet waste that will eventually end up in our recreational and drinking water sources. Hardin County and its communities are fortunate to have an abundance of lakes, streams, and surrounding natural areas. Help us protect our waterways. Pick up trash and pet waste. Report unusual substances in drainage ways, and pick up chemical and oil spills. For more information on how you can improve water quality in your community, contact us. Remember, if it's on the ground, it's in your water.
Here. Squire Saltzman.
Here.
Squire Thompson.
Here.
Squire Whitehead.
Here.
Squire Yates.
Here.
Judge Tall.
Here. Next, we'll have our invocation by Magistrate Hicks and Pledge of Allegiance by Magistrate Clem.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just come to you today, just asking you to lead, guide, and direct us here today, that we would do the right thing. We just ask your blessings upon our families, each family that's represented here, Father. We just pray for the unborn and the born, that you just watch over them. We just ask you to be with our county, our state, our country. We just also ask you to be with Israel, with all that's going on over there, Father. We just pray that you would intervene and take care of that. We just give you the praise and glory for everything we say and do, and just be with us today, watch over us, and keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, again, thanks again for joining today. Got a really good group today, it looks like. And so thanks for coming today. Just want to do a quick review of the agenda. We will, after this, move on to approving the last court meeting minutes. We'll then have a public hearing. We have, after that, we'll have some department and office reports and presentations. We have some citizens and concerns or comments time that we can have, if anybody's interested in that. After that, we have 2 ordinances and 1 resolution to vote on. And then we have our typical consent agenda that I'll go down through and explain before we vote on that one. After that, the comments time, and then we'll adjourn. So that's pretty much our agenda today. Just have one other item I'd like to take care of. This is, I think, a time that we can acknowledge some folks in our county that give of themselves every single day. In general, I'll say that we have a whole bunch of folks here that are EMTs and paramedics, all in our ambulance service that I'm going to focus on today, and of course led by our 2 guys right over here that sometimes hide from me, but Mark Peterson and so is leading the way there, and I just want to acknowledge him and the work that he does in leading this group. So, but today I just want to take some time, and I want to read a proclamation today, acknowledging and some of the our EMTs that went beyond the call of duty. So just let me read this proclamation. Just take a moment. Whereas Sean Thomas, Advanced EMT, Kelly Gibson, EMT, and Riley Black, EMT, went above and beyond the call of service. Whereas they not only took care of a patient for the duration of the call, but also cared for her overall well-being and long-term health. Whereas the character of this crew was highlighted due to always striving to uphold a high standard everywhere they are working. Whereas outstanding performance and dedication of this crew is consistently and constantly putting the patient's well-being first. Now, therefore, be it resolved on behalf of all the citizens of Hardin County, I do hereby proclaim on this September 24th, 2024 as Beyond the Call of Service Week within Hardin County, and encourage all our citizens to join me in this worthy observance, acknowledging Sean, Kelly, and Raleigh for their exemplary service. We honor these men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep the residents of our great county safe and healthy. So thank you very much. join down here in front, and we'll hand out these proclamations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you all. Okay, next on the agenda is to approve the Hardin County Fiscal Court September 10th, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Get that? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, next is our a public hearing regarding the Nicely Cemetery relocation, and this will be conducted by Jenny Oldham, our county attorney.
Thank you, Judge. You have in your materials the letter requesting from Ms. Nell Johnson at 1750 Gaither Station Road in E-Town to relocate several burial sites that are found there on the property to the Elizabethtown City Cemetery. And I know Ms. Johnson's here, and Judge Howard, I don't know if you all want to come up and maybe say a few things. We've done these processes before, I think, with this court. This is, I believe, our third. And so you see that she made the request July 17th, 2024, and then notice was published in the News Enterprise on July 24th, 2024, which was at least 60 days ago. And so at this point, you all can make the order that that be allowed to be done. Ms. Johnson's here if you have any questions. Anything you want to say, Ms. Johnson?
I really appreciate being here this evening, and the reason I want to do this is to honor my family's wishes the best way I can. Prior to my father's death in 2005, he bought the burial plots and was in the process of getting everyone to be moved, and there's two graves, my mother and my grandmother, and then he passed, so it just never happened. So I think this will be the best way, and then all of the family members are going to be up in Elizabethtown Cemetery, easy to locate, going all the way back to the 1800s. So that way their graves will be taken care of and so on. And the funniest thing about my dad is, before he passed, he's like, now I want people to come visit. I want people to come visit my grave. And I'm like, Dad, I just don't do that very often, so I don't know. But anyway, I am glad to help make this happen.
Any questions for Ms. Johnson?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
being here. Is there any other, anyone in the public, anyone here who wants to speak to this? Okay. All right. Anyone on the court have any questions? This is at no cost to Hardin County government. Ms. Johnson's made arrangements for that. If no one has any questions, that'll close the hearing. Judge, could we call the resolution out of order 2024-199 and maybe go ahead and vote on that in case they need to be elsewhere?
Certainly, we can do that. So we will bring up then Resolution 2024-199 that's related to the Nicely Cemetery relocation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to make sure that the public understands that this is at the request of the surviving family, and it's to honor those who passed.
Yes.
And it's not done in any way that's just without thought, but it's with careful thought.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, have roll call, please.
Squire Clem.
Yes.
Squire Hicks.
Yes.
Squire Muse.
Yes.
Squire Pennington.
Yes.
Squire Saltzman.
Yes.
Squire Thompson.
Yes.
Squire Whitehead.
Yes.
Squire Yates.
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on then to our next item. That would be some presentations. We'll start with EMS by Mark Peterson.
Good evening. Thank you guys again for recognizing these folks. They'll never brag about what they did, but I will. They made a run on an elderly female in the Radcliffe area who couldn't take her medication because her water had been turned off, and they made arrangements to work with the water district to get her water turned back on so that she could take her medicine and all that good stuff. So it's they go above and beyond every day, but that's just one extra little thing. So I appreciate you guys recognizing them.
Thank you.
I have the July and August activity report for EMS. First slide, we have our call data. We made 1,407 responses in the month of July. Of those, 1,379 were 911, 28 were transfers, and 128 of those counted as non-billable runs, which were probably cancellations or false runs. Went too far, I apologize. Our collection comparison, we collected 486,838. As you can see, that's up a little bit from this time last year. August call volume, we made 1,413 responses. Of those, 1,269 were 911, 30 transfers, and then 150 cancellations. A little dip in revenue in August. We collected $504,444. Fiscal year to date, we so far have made 2,820 responses. Of those, 2,648 were 911, 58 transfers, and 276 canceled runs. A look at our comparison year to date, so far we have collected just shy of $1 million, $991,282, which is about $70,000 up from where we were this time last year. Some other activity out and about. In July, we participated in a Meet the Medic program with their health at ECTC with the Health Services Group. We went to a Cub Scout day camp at Freeman Lake and did a touch a truck. Provided standby at the Hardin County Fair. Ford Driving Skills for Life, which was a program that Ford hosted at Central Hardin to help teach all drivers, but mainly drivers that are just starting to drive, about distraction techniques and stuff like that. We provided standby for some youth rodeos. We attended the drug fatality review meeting with the coroner's office, safety roundtable with Elizabethtown Independent Schools, the child fatality review. We had a meeting with Stryker concerning some of our equipment. I attended the Kentucky Ambulance Providers Association meeting in Stanford and our monthly Kentucky Board of EMS admin call, as well as our weekly financial and QA meetings with Judge Executive Keith Thal. August, we had a Touch a Truck Meet the Medic at Hardin County High School, Teddy Bear Clinic at College View, Touch a Truck at Therapy Associates, We provided standby for the Hardin County High Schools football, Elizabethtown High School football. We also did 2 LaRue County High School football games as they played at the Elizabethtown Sports Park. Youth rodeos, the Optimus Rodeo. We had training with our new billing company. We did a demo of a training mannequin. I attended the stroke committee meeting with Baptist Health Hardin, a cardiac committee meeting with Baptist Health Hardin. We participated in the active shooter incident debrief. I attended an Indiana University research meeting about Pulse Point and how we can expand on it, as well as our K-Beams admin call and our weekly finance meetings with the judge. This is September 3rd. We finished up our 3rd advanced EMT class. These are all folks that completed that class successfully. Most of these on their list have already gotten their advanced EMT certification. You guys will be voting on these folks today in the consent agenda, but I just want to take a moment to highlight them. Most of them are from Hardin County EMS, but we did have a few from Nelson County that attended. And before I wrap up, our trunk or treat, which is always a big hit, is Saturday, October 12th from 4 to 7. It'll be next door and in this parking lot, so if you guys want to bring your family by for lots of candy and games and inflatables, we'd love to see you there. So, any questions?
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Next, E911, Mike Leo. Give it to Mark today. Mike.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm here to present the activity report for the 911 Center for the month of August. Dave, you can take the wheel. We'll get to it in a minute. I don't know how to use a clicker. All right. 911 calls answered, 4,443. 10,542 CAD reports created. Answered 6,162 administrative calls. Dispatched 1,409 EMS runs, 432 fire runs, and handled 2,436 attempt to serve prisoner transport and traffic stop type calls. Calls of service by agency for the month of August. EMS there at 33.5%. Radcliffe Police second, 29.9%. Sheriff's Office is 17.5%. The other agencies we dispatched for, you can see their percentages there in the graph. Runs by fire department for the month of August. E-Town with 35%, Radcliffe at 21.5%. And you can see the remainder of the fire departments we also dispatched for and their percentages there. Calls transferred to secondary law enforcement sites here in Hardin County. Total calls transferred 750, 641 to E-Town Police, and 109 to the Kentucky State Police. And that is all I have for my report. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, detention center, Josh Lindblom. Good evening.
All right, August 2024, the Hardin County Detention Center, business as usual. So we had a lodging income of $327,005.27. Our monthly intake that month was 490 prisoners. It says our release was 501. That is a typo. We haven't released 501 people, so I wish that was the case. Average daily population 584 and total count 520. You notice the billing cycle for that month, we were up 2% on our state prisoners from the month before, which that's still not showing any leeway too much. That's just folks that were actually found guilty in circuit court and final sentence. So, all right, misdemeanor charges: operating under the influence 47, assault 4th degree 22, possession of marijuana 22, violation of Kentucky EPO DVO 2, non-payment of fines 21, theft by deception code checks 4, shot to 22. Burglary first, second, third, 12. Robbery first, second, 1. Assault first, second, third, 8. Possession of controlled substance, 44. Flagrant non-sport, 2. And trafficking illegal substances, 25. Weekender total, 83. We have cycled through our weekenders, so we don't have anybody waiting anymore. During COVID, we had to put a hold on a lot of it and stuff because we just couldn't, get the rest of the population of the jail, mixed in with them. But now we're doing well with it and stuff, so we're just about to where we are getting where they can start, slowing down a bit. So, inmate hours worked, 10,339 hours. Hardin County, 8,333. If you would take minimum wage and what it would cost to have somebody out there doing that, would be $60,414.25. Outside medical appointments, 16. Emergency room visits, 4. Nurse visits inside the facility, 1,158. Medical requests, 128. Hospital admissions, 0. Inmates on medication, 287. So you figure about 3/4 of our population's on medication at the jail. All right, our road cleanup, 1,815 bags of trash, 133 miles of county roads cleaned. If you notice, if you ever get out and about and stuff, see the roads out in Hardin County and you sit there all cleaned up and stuff, that is the inmate work crews that do that. Since this last meeting, since the last time I reported, we had, of course, the See a Day Festival. And we always go a couple days before and a couple days after, make sure everything's cleaned up. We got white mills taken care of and all down the riverside there. It was cleaned up, weed eating, everything looking pretty. We got the park and white mills cleaned up and actually got gravel donated, so it got spread out there and stuff. So if you get up to Buckles Road and Webb Mill Road, there's actually a boat launch there now, so that's pretty cool. I know it was one of the ones that got worked out a couple of years ago for property that was just sitting. They went ahead and made it a park. The White Mill Civic League is taking care of that, and we helped them out. Of course, the See a Days, White Mills Days, Upton Days in the past week. We went ahead and beforehand and afterwards cleaned up everything. We'll go around and make sure all the candy's picked back up on the side of the road, and you can't tell there was a parade there now. And we'll be in West Point this week and next week, to make sure it's taken care of. So, Mayor Streets will be happy about that, and doing a lot of projects. So, any questions on anything?
Josh, how many releases did you have? You said the 501 was...
I would have to find out, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's pretty close to the number. It wasn't 501.
Okay, but it's close.
It was just a typo.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know how far off
I would
it
text
was.
it to you in the morning,
Typically, you have a good amount, so...
Yeah. I mean, but we didn't, with that many arrested, so we didn't have that many released. So I wish that was the case, so.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, there's a resolution that we're gonna, in the consent agenda, having to do with the pre-trip health insurance enrollment.
Yes.
MOU between Health Plan Freedom and Hardin County Detention Center.
Yes.
Would you mind just taking just a brief moment and explaining what that is, so I don't have to try to do that later?
No, it's no problem, Beth. And most of y'all were at the Emergency Service Committee meeting when we proposed this, but what it is that 10 other states right now have gotten to where they can have health insurance for the inmates that are pre-adjudicated, meaning that inmates that are in this facility that have not been found guilty of anything yet is eligible for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. So you figure the inmates that we get in the first 90 days are the ones that get most medical attention. One, with coming off of drugs, rehab of drugs, just their physical stature and everything, so they're healthier by 90 days out. Well, if we get this insurance, they want to sign up for it. Of course, it's a voluntary program. They don't have to, but it would benefit them very greatly if they did. And of course, once they get released and stuff, it kicks back in as well. But once they get found guilty, it does get taken away. Temporarily, it gets postponed. So the only thing the county will be out of pocket will be $1,800 if they sign up for this insurance, which is no cost to us to sign people up. And it will, for $1,800 and stuff, is the most we'd pay out of pocket if somebody went. So if you figure $2,200 your average ER visit. So you figure $2,200, if that's one ER visit. This takes care of medications, this takes care of all that. So there's a big plus to it. And we will be the first jail in the state to do this. We were the pioneers. They asked us to do it since we, we're ones on the ground level trying to work it all out. There's 10 other states that are doing it, and talking to the folks from 10 other states, they have saved a considerable amount of money, up until the graph that I give y'all during the emergency service meeting was one jail instead of their first quarter was $274,000, and they only had about a couple hundred more prisoners than we did, so that's a big push. And you figure with us having 3/4 of our population on medication, the folks that would be eligible for that, I mean, there's a good chunk considering that we have 48% of our population, 52% of our population is county prisoners. There's a good bit of those people that are eligible for this insurance. So I ask you to go ahead and vote yes for it, because we're going to see if it saves us money. And we've been looking at ways all the time to save money because it's getting harder and harder every day. But with this, if it could save thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff, I think we ought to do it. And we'll be the first one in the state of Kentucky, and then we will go through the rest of them. Of course, they'll start signing other jails up in our fall conference in October. So it could be a revolutionary thing, really. I know when I talked to the folks at the jail there in Tampa Bay, they said it was saving them $100,000 a month. So that's a big push. Any questions?
I have a question, Josh, but I want to thank you for taking care of things whenever I give you a call and
No problem.
get right on it. Appreciate it.
No problem. And I appreciate you wrestling with my kid the whole time during the Radcliffe parade the other day.
Yeah,
He took a shine to you and stuff, and it was pretty fun.
Good kid.
You look pretty wore out after that, so
I was a little tired, yeah.
I'd like to thank you as well, Josh, for the same thing. I didn't realize that he had called you. Same issue that I had, but different road on picking the deer up. But, I called you, and the next day they was taken care of, so I appreciate it.
No problem. Anybody else got any questions, anybody?
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for that explanation, by the way.
No problem. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is citizens' concerns or comments. Do we have anybody here today that wants to come up to the podium and voice concerns, comments, praises, whatever you like? Yes.
I'm Jim Hillman, and with my wife Donna this afternoon, excuse me. We're in Larry Hicks' district. He's been very cooperative. Every time I call him, he answers the phone, and generally he answers my questions, so I appreciate it. I just wanted to comment that we appreciate the work that the road crew does out on Constantine Road there. We've got some sinkholes out there, and there's a lot of brush alongside, and they clean them off very well, and it's very appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item. We still have two ordinances to vote on. The first one is a first reading of Ordinance 269-4, Series 2024, zoning text amendment related to medical cannabis businesses in unincorporated Hardin County. And so just to make sure that the public, especially, I think all of us have looked at this and aware of it, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to read through this particular ordinance. So this is amendment number 4 to ordinance number 269, series 2009. It's an ordinance approving a text amendment to the Development Guidance System zoning ordinance 2009 to accommodate potential medical cannabis businesses in unincorporated Hardin County. Whereas Hardin County Fiscal Court has adopted a comprehensive plan, land use regulations, and subdivision regulations. Whereas the above-mentioned regulations are designed to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Hardin County. Whereas the Hardin County Planning and Development Commission adopted a new comprehensive plan entitled Comprehensive Development Guide 2024 on March 5th, 2024, and the Hardin County Fiscal Court adopted the goals and objectives contained therein on March 12th, 2024. Whereas the 2023, excuse me, whereas the 2023 Kentucky General Assembly passed Senate Bill 47 legalizing the use of medical cannabis and establishing a framework for state licensure of cannabis businesses such as cultivators, dispensaries, processors, producers, and safety compliance facilities in the Commonwealth effective January 1st, 2025. Whereas the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services Medical Cannabis Program filed administrative regulations 915 KAR establishing procedures for the issuance, renewal, suspension, and revocation of cannabis business licenses. Whereas KRS 218B 1302B authorizes local governments to enact ordinances that are no less restrictive than the Kentucky Revised Statutes or administrative regulations. Whereas it is necessary to establish the zoning requirements of cannabis businesses prior to January 1st, 2025, prior to the Cabinet issuing any cannabis business license. Whereas the proposed amendment to Table 1, Land Use Table, will allow for medical cannabis business, cultivator, dispensary, processor, producer, safety compliance facility as a permitted use within the I-1 light industrial and I-2 heavy industrial zones in unincorporated Hardin County, Kentucky. Whereas a public hearing was held by the Hardin County Planning Commission on September 3rd, 2024, after which the Commission adopted Resolution 2024-18, recommending changes to Hardin County Fiscal Court to accommodate any future potential medical cannabis businesses. Now therefore be it ordained upon recommendation of Hardin County Planning Commission that the text of the Development Guidance System Zoning Ordinance 2009, Hardin County Fiscal Court Court Ordinance number 269, Series 2009, be amended to add medical cannabis as item 48 to the Land Use Table, Table 1, beginning on page 56 and continuing onto page 57 of the zoning ordinance as follows. And it's a great highlighted addition. So we have included in here that item number 48, and it shows that it shows exactly what it said here for medical cannabis. So that's what this what we're voting on today. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
So on March 31st, 2023, Governor Beshear signed Senate Bill 47, legalizing medical cannabis across the Commonwealth, effective January 1st, 2025. Since that time, cities and counties throughout the Commonwealth have been adopting zoning ordinance to determine where these businesses can operate. Today, this court will be taking similar action. However, unlike other areas, it has been recommended by Planning and Zoning that all medical cannabis businesses in our jurisdiction be classified as industrial. I have been informed that this priority is simply to have an ordinance in place before the January 1st deadline, and we can revisit the zoning of dispensaries at a later date. While I understand the time constraints, I believe that there has been more than enough time to address this matter properly. I'm not comfortable with the idea of placing retail businesses within industrial zones, and it doesn't seem the right fit for such establishments. I'm supportive of the requirement for cultivating, processing, producing, and safety compliance facilities to be located industrial. However, I strongly disagree with the proposal to classify dispensaries as industrial entities. Dispensaries should be treated like any other retail businesses and zoned commercially. Just a few months ago, we debated the use of industrial zone for purposes that might encroach on prime farmland. Now there's a push to designate retail businesses, such as dispensaries, as industrial. It appears that zoning regulations are being influenced by current narratives rather than consistent policy. I would like to understand the rationale behind zoning dispensaries as industrial. The state has already imposed restrictions and safety measures for these businesses. Additionally, the recent decision to place medical cannabis issue on the ballot was meant to reflect the will of the people. It now seems that there may be efforts to undermine this by using zoning to restrict dispensaries from the commercial areas. In my view, there's no justifiable reason for this approach, and I will not support any ordinance that seems designed to complicate the operation of dispensaries in our county.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you. So medical cannabis dispensaries primarily serve patients who need safe and convenient access to cannabis for therapeutic purposes. These patients may include individuals with chronic illnesses, mobility issues, or severe pain. Industrial zones are often located on the outskirts of the city and are not designed to accommodate large amounts of pedestrian traffic. The infrastructure in the industrial areas is typically geared toward freight, warehouses, and heavy machinery rather than serving the needs of the patients seeking medical care. Pedestrian safety concerns, their areas may not have proper sidewalks, lighting, or crosswalks, raising safety concerns for the patients, particularly those with mobility issues. I also have a problem with the public perception and the stigma. The location of medical cannabis dispensaries play a significant role in shaping public perception of cannabis use. Placing these facilities in industrial zones reinforces the outdated stigma associating them with unsavory or undesirable parts of town. This can hinder the normalization of cannabis as a legitimate medical treatment and perpetuate negative stereotypes. The visibility in the community. By placing the dispensaries in an industrial area, they become less visible to the general public, which I think is what you guys are pushing for, further isolating patients and providers from the broader community. This may deter some patients from seeking care due to the stigmatized nature of the location. Cultural acceptance. Normalizing medical cannabis as part of everyday health care requires its integration into areas where other medical facilities are located, such as commercial or mixed-use zones, rather than in remote industrialized locations. We also have the lack of supporting services. Industrial zones are designed for manufacturing, logistics, and other heavy industries, not for businesses that rely on customer service and health-related needs. Medical cannabis dispensaries often require supporting services that are common in commercial zones but scarce in an industrial area. These services can include nearby pharmacies or healthcare providers. Patients may need access to complementary medical services such as pharmacies or clinics, which are more likely to be found in the commercial districts. Professional staffing and amenities. Dispensaries need to hire qualified medical professionals and staff. Industrial zones may not be attractive to potential employees due to the lack of nearby amenities such as restaurants, cafes, and other conveniences that are typically found in retail or mixed-use zones. As far as security risk, industrial zones are typically less populated during off-peak hours, making them more vulnerable to crime. Dispensaries, due to the value of their product, are prime targets for theft. The isolation of an industrial zone can make it difficult to maintain adequate security and deter criminal activity. There's low foot traffic. The lack of constant foot traffic and surveillance in an industrial area may provide criminals with opportunity to target these dispensaries. Slow emergency response. Dispensaries located in industrial areas may face slower response times from the emergency services due to the remote nature of their zones. Placing a medical cannabis dispensary in an industrial zone can lead to zoning conflicts, which I think Mr. Yates alluded to, with the businesses already operating there. Industrial companies often engage in activities that are noisy, hazardous, or involve heavy machinery, which are incompatible with a healthcare-focused business. Additionally, as cities grow and evolve, industrial zones may become less suitable for dispensaries due to redevelopment or changes in the type of businesses operating there. The nature of industrial activities can be disruptive to a medical environment that requires calm and cleanliness, further alienating patients. Economic growth conflicts. An industrial zone develops or rezone for other types of businesses. Dispensaries could find themselves squeezed out of space or facing opposition from incoming industry. Better alternatives, in my opinion, and I think the way that it should be, is commercial and mixed-use zones. Medical cannabis dispensaries are better suited for these zones that cater to retail, healthcare services, and other customer-focused industries. These areas are typically more accessible, safer, and integrated into the community. They also offer the potential for dispensaries to collaborate with nearby healthcare facilities, such as the doctor's office or the wellness centers, fostering a more holistic approach to patient care. In conclusion, locating a medical cannabis dispensary in an industrial zone poses several challenges, from patient accessibility, safety, to public perception and security risk. Given these considerations, I think it is clear that medical cannabis dispensaries should be integrated into commercial or mixed-use zones where they can thrive as part of a community-based healthcare system, rather than being isolated in an industrial area where they are ill-suited to serve the needs of the patients. By placing the dispensaries in accessible, community-oriented areas, cities can help normalize medical cannabis and ensure it is treated as a legitimate form of health care. Some on this court are making this vote a moral issue because they disagree with medical cannabis. I'm also making this a moral decision on this vote. I don't like to regulate business, but if we're going to regulate a business, I think we should do it correctly and fairly. I will not, my position as a magistrate, dictate what kind of businesses are located in Hardin County and which ones I disagree with. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
No.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
No.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
No.
Judge Tall?
Yes. Motion passes. All right, moving on to the next item of business, we have to approve Ordinance 340, Amendment 1, Series 2024, Fiscal Year 2024-25, relating to annual budget and amendment. These amendments add up to about $1.6 million of revenues and expenses, and so I believe we've had opportunity to go through all of those amendments prior to this. So is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, and finally, we'll look at the consent agenda. We have the first three items in here all dealing with some financial items. The treasurer's financial report for August payroll with registers, and the September claims through 9/24, and library claims through 9/24. We also have Resolution 192 that's related to some financial transfers. Next item, two items, are personnel. One from the Animal Care and Control Personnel, it's Resolution 189, and then also Resolution 191 related to EMS personnel. Item E, which is approve Resolution 190. This is related to declaring all the equipment and vehicles and other items surplus for the auction that's happening, and so all these items will be auctioned off, and there's quite a few of them, several pages of them. Next item is Resolution 194. This is related to rescinding the portion of Resolution 2023-199, purchase of remount ambulances. We were going to get 3 remount ambulances, and we're only able to get 2 of those. Unfortunately, the vendor is unable to fulfill the 3rd ambulance, so we are rescinding that 1 ambulance, and we're redirecting the money for that ambulance and combining it as we're planning to do with the money that we have budgeted for 2 remount ambulances this year, and then putting those together to those 3 down to 2 brand new ambulances, and then another truck that needs to be replaced. So that will be coming up later. So that's the reason for that resolution. There's a Resolution 195 related to accepting 2004 bus into inventory. This bus will be used for a multiple injury type of event that we need that type of space to move people from the accident or whatever the event is to the hospital, and we need a bus to do that. So this is a bus that was given to the county by Hardin County Schools, and it's already being transformed as we speak. Already been painted white, and that was donated to us.
That was
and other
Elizabethtown
things.
Independent Schools giving us that one.
No, that's Hardin County, but we do have another one that's coming.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's coming from Elizabethtown, but that's not
Okay.
this one.
I apologize.
That's okay, no problem. Thanks. I had to check that too, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we're getting buses, okay, and it's
thought we'd already
great.
got that other one.
Yeah. Well, this is actually to accept it into our inventory, is what the purpose of this was. Next one is Resolution 196 related to CAECO insurance grant. This is application for a grant for training. Resolution 197 is related to Fort Knox refuse and construction demolition debris collection. This is to accept a bid from Platform for an IGSA, Intergovernment Service Agreement with Fort Knox. The next item, Resolution 198, Josh was nice enough to explain that one to us. And then the last four items are all committee meeting minutes. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. All right. So we'll go on and move on to our comment time. Does our county attorney have any comments?
I don't, thank you.
All right. How about our county clerk?
I'll issue just a few brief reminders about the upcoming election. If you haven't heard, this is an election year. We're planning for a big one. The deadline to register to vote is 4 p.m. on October 7th. You can do that by coming by our office or visiting govote.ky.gov. The absentee request portal is open, again, at that same website, govote.ky.gov, or you can come by our office, or you can call our election staff at 765-6762. And I want to make a comment about some websites that are out there. There are a lot of third-party websites that look very official. They're run by private organizations, purported nonprofit organizations. They cannot request your absentee ballot. You cannot request an absentee ballot through them. They're collecting your name, your address, your social security number, and your birth date, and we don't know what they're doing with them. But they cannot make a request for your absentee ballot. The only website you can do this through is govote.ky.gov. It is run by the State Board of Elections here in Kentucky. In the primary, we had a couple of voters who were disenfranchised. They made late requests through this third-party website, then they called us wanting to know where their ballots were, and it was after the absentee ballot portal had closed. So I want to get this information out early. Don't trust an organization that ends in .com or .org to request your ballot, and I will go ahead and say this because one other county clerk got this question. No, you can't order your ballot on Amazon. But please just be very, very careful with your personal information. We want every vote to count. And for those folks who physically can't make it to the polls, we want to make sure they're taken care of. So thank you all.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to Magistrate Yates.
Okay. On behalf of Mayor Cerisi, we'd like to invite everyone out for River Days Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The festivities start at 4 p.m. on Thursday and Friday, and it's all day Saturday. Also Saturday, there'll be a parade for the politicians. Everybody lines up at 10:30, 11 p.m. I think the parade, or 11 a.m. the parade starts. Is that correct? Hopefully the rain will hold up. There'll be rides and a lot of festivities there. Also, we're going to have a special call meeting on October 4th at 10 a.m. to open the bid, or not to open, to review the bids on the ambulances and the Tahoe. And then we're going to have our regular call meeting on October 10th at 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m.
All right, thank you.
Chris, you got anything to say about the Bluegrass Festival in Vine Grove?
I do not. I will pass that on to you and Kenny.
I was hoping you'd have some information.
Well, Kenny might know about it. He normally updates us on.
I know he was going to mention Brownieville, but I thought maybe you'd mention Vine Grove. So.
Yeah.
The Bluegrass Festival at Vine Grove starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think Thursday evening's free. I think there's tickets for Friday, Saturday, and they've been having it for years, and they have some big name people playing at that thing.
So we have some competing interest in the county, it
Yes.
seems.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can handle it, though. All right. Next, Magistrate Saltzman.
This Kenny gets to talk now. I'm just kidding with you, Kenny, about butting in there. The only thing I have is I just want to brag on Hardin County Schools a little bit. We went this week, I guess it was last week. Thursday, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Thursday? We went out there to John Hardin, and their small animal class has adopted some kittens from our animal control. While we were there with their class, the principal took us, several of us, for a tour of some things that are going on there at John Hardin, and that is really cool, the things that they're doing. They've got, the kids are as he stated, they're getting away from sitting in rows, being lectured, and they're hands-on. They're learning hands-on, making clothes. You guys may have to help me here. They have the lemonade they sell, that their special needs students sell. They have, what did they have?
Cafe.
They had a cafe where they had the muffins that they make there in school, and they sell of the mornings. They had, my favorite that I saw, but it wasn't anybody there to take my money, was the slushy machine. I would have loved to have had a slushy. But they have slushy machine, candy bars, different things that they sell also before school. I just thought it was really cool, and they stated that the profits that they make, a lot of it, they donated some of it to Hardin County Animal Shelter and some of it to the Nelson County Animal Shelter, Bullitt County, I believe. Bullitt County
and
Animal
other
Shelter.
local nonprofits.
Local
And
nonprofits.
some other local nonprofits, yes. So I thought that was really cool that John Hardin is doing that, so I wanted to give them some kudos, even though I did not attend there, Mr. Pennington. But, and then today, with Brian Smith and some others, we were out at Bluegrass and spoke with some students. They had their, I'm surprised Brian didn't mention this, they had their student council elections, is that correct?
That's right.
And so Brian had a box out there and let them vote, and they are hand counting those votes probably tomorrow. They're probably not doing it right now.
It's probably going to take them a while.
So we got to speak to some of the classes, and the kids there are great kids. It was cool to get to hang out with the kids for a little bit. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Whitehead.
Yes, our education system is not your parents' or grandma's system that we're used to. They're very progressive, and I couldn't be more proud than I am of the Hardin County school systems. Just want to remind everyone that the Hardin County Animal Care and Control is having a rabies clinic at the Hardin County Fairgrounds on the 28th. It's this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2. Very reasonable cost. So bring your cats and your dogs out there and get the rabies shots for them. Also, a reminder, the Resources and Community Support Committee meeting is about a month away, but I'll call attention to it now. It's October 21st at 3:30 across the hall. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we've got 3 competing events. Okay, we'll figure it out. All right, Magistrate Clem.
Thank you, Judge. Next Finance Committee meeting will be October the 15th at 3:30 across the hall. Also, our next Town Hall Forum will be October the 29th at 5:30 here in the courtroom. And I just want to remind folks to please don't drink and drive and don't text and drive.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Pennington?
No comments, sir.
Magistrate Thompson?
Nothing today. Thank you.
Magistrate Hicks?
I just want to let everybody know that I'm very humbled to be one of the magistrates here in Hardin County. I just really take it seriously, and I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be a magistrate here in Hardin County. It's a great county, and I'm very humbled, and I thank you.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Muse?
And like to add the Vine Grove Bluegrass Festival, it's at the Vine Grove Optimist Park. And also this Saturday is Ronnieville Days. They have events going on all afternoon, car show, food vendors, and they even have a concert that evening, free. And the parade starts at 11 o'clock in Ronnieville.
All right, thank you. Just a reminder, the next fiscal court meeting is October 8th at 3:30 p.m. And I think that just about covers it. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Motion second. Any objections? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.